It's one of the worst oil spills in Brazil's history, but one that's hard to fully assess from the air or by satellite. Brazilian authorities say it's impossible to tell how much oil is likely to come ashore. And no one's sure who's responsible. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro says it's the fault of a Greek-flagged oil tanker, and he's asked Interpol to investigate. But Bolsonaro removed environmental safeguards.
So they established executive order in April, got rid of several hundred of those committees in all federal government. And one of those committees was exactly the committee to deal with oil spills.
Now, Brazil's coastal ecosystems, its beaches, coral and marine life, have been devastated.
Life won't be able to flourish and grow like it's always been able to, and it affects the food chain. It's a community of land and sea species here. This is a disaster. This oil cannot be allowed to remain.
The cleanup effort is enormous, including government authorities, the military, and thousands of volunteers. Because it has to be. Over 300 beaches along 2,000 kilometers of coastline must be cleared of crude oil.
This disaster with this kind of oil that can't be detected by satellite has never happened before in Brazil, or in fact anywhere in the world.
Brazil now has multiple environmental disasters playing out at once. Fires in the Amazon, a burst toxic mining dam, and now this.
I'm now joined by Diane Ajante, reporting for the Associated Press in Rio de Janeiro. Diane, do we know more about where this oil is coming from and why Interpol is now getting involved in this incident?
Yes, hi. So Brazilian authorities investigated for 2 months. They looked into dozens of vessels that had been navigating close to the coast, around the Brazilian coast, or around July and August. And for long, they didn't know where it came. They only knew it was Venezuelan oil, but they didn't know where the leak came from. And a few days ago, police said that the leak came from a Greek cargo. And they believe that the tanker spilled some heavy crude, some 700 kilometers off the Brazilian coast between the 28th and 29th of July. But the ship owner denied the leak, and so Brazilian authorities requested cooperation from international agencies such as Interpol to help with this investigation into the ship, but also the crew and the company.
Now, as we've seen pictures, the locals are helping with the cleanup. What more can you tell us about this public action?
So since the very beginning, so that would be around September 2nd, when the oil started washing up on the Brazilian shore, locals and volunteers have played a very important role in the cleanup. They have been the ones rolling up their sleeves and taking it upon themselves to clean up the beaches, because they know, they depend on this and it's for tourism, and so they have been very crucial in cleaning up and not always using proper material and protection. So we have seen reports of some people feeling nauseous and having headaches and irritated skin because they've been working the whole day, day after day, on cleaning up oil, and sometimes without gloves, and sometimes stepping up for the government, who was kind of slow to respond.
In fact, talking about the government, Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro has come under fire for his handling of this situation. What more can you tell us about that, and how damaging is this oil spill for Brazil?
So some say the problem was that it was too little, too late, and a lot of people have been criticizing the government's slow response at first. Then they send the military, and then they send big backup, up to 5,000 military members who were, available to help. But critics said that one of the big problems is that Bolsonaro dismantled, when he came to power in April, many committees that used to counsel the government on different issues, from culture to health to the environment. And some of those committees, 2 of them, were actually shut down, and they were actually part of the National Contingency Plan for oil spills and water contamination. So this did not look good for the government.
Right, Diane Argente in Rio de Janeiro. Thank you very much for the update from there.